All right, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 25 reasons why the medical commodities business is the best business. I'm also going to be doing a little compare and contrast to other well-known and popular reselling side hustles known as phones, houses, cars, pallets, sneakers, domains, appliances, clothes, etc. This video isn't to knock down or bash them. This is simply just to compare and contrast. If you're thinking about doing the medical commodities business and maybe something else, and you're juggling the idea between the two, this video will highlight 25 different reasons as to why I stand behind and believe in the medical commodities business as much as I do. This business has changed my life. I was able to make my first 6 figures at the age of 21. I was able to make my first 7 figures at the age of 25. And in this video, I'm just going to share with you just 25 reasons that I came up with. I didn't even prompt ChatGPT. I'm sure ChatGPT would have gave me 100, 200 reasons because this business is absolutely amazing. But let me just go over these 25 reasons. We'll highlight on some of these, and then I'll show you guys why this business is so awesome. So number one, 10 to 15 hours per month. You know, there's a lot of things out there where, especially if you are maybe, you could be you could be one of two types of people if you're watching this video. Number one, you're already an entrepreneur, you're already your own boss, you're already doing your own thing, but you're just looking for like a simple additional stream of income. Something not too techy, doesn't take up too much time, but it can provide you with some good monthly cash flow. Or number two, you are working a job and you're either looking to break free of working for somebody else and start your own thing, or you're just looking for some extra monthly cash flow. So whether you're in one of two of those, whether you're in one of those two categories, it does not matter. What I'm going to share with you in this video can definitely strike home on at least 10 to 15 points of the 25 list. So number one, 10 to 15 hours per month. There's a lot of things out there where when you start it, the people or whoever the instructor is, they're telling you that you have to go out there and you have to dedicate all this time and all this energy and all these resources to this business. I want you to think about the medical commodities business like a tennis match. I serve the ball to you. I have to wait for it to come back. It comes back to me, then I have to serve it back to you. So this is like a tennis match. You're going to go out, you're going to put out different forms of marketing, both offline and online marketing. And I'm going to talk about, online, which is number two, but you're going to do both offline and online marketing, and you're going to do this 10 to 15 hours per month. That's 2 to 3 hours per month, at least in the beginning. And then as it grows, you can dedicate more time to it. But you're going to put out marketing and you're going to wait for your customers or your potential customers to reach out to you. You don't have to chase them down. You're going to put out your marketing and wait. And with some time, with some patience, with consistent marketing, you will get calls. Number two, it's not an internet business. So like I said, there's offline and online marketing strategies, but in fact, from 2015 to 2022, 2023, I only did offline guerrilla style marketing. The most I did online was like very basic things with Facebook and very basic things with Craigslist. Now, in the past, 2 to 2.5 years or so, I've been running online ads, which I've been absolutely crushing it with. But you don't need to do anything with the internet. Besides like joining our community Facebook group, which will help, and doing some other basic stuff. But if you think that this business is going to require you to have a master's degree or any sort of crazy skills as far as the internet, you can be rest assured this requires 0 internet skills. Number three, you can work this solo. So in fact, I did this business 100% solo until I was about at the $25,000 per month mark. So if you just want to do this by yourself, you absolutely can. I know somebody out in Las Vegas, he's doing $50,000, $60,000 per month, 100% by himself. I personally recommend when you start getting, over $15,000 to $20,000 per month, you start bringing on different, people and different systems into place so you can kind of get some of your freedom back so you could own your business and your business doesn't own you. But if you think that you need to bring on help in the beginning to do this, you absolutely do not need any help. You can 100% do this 100% by yourself. Number four, this is basically invisible, not sexy, and which equals 0 competition. So with that being said, until you came into this training and watched this video, I'm sure you never even heard about this business. In fact, there's only about 2,000 to 2,500 at the very max amount of resellers, people like myself and people like soon to be you, doing this business. There are 40 plus million diabetics with these extra supplies. Number 5 is it's a super fast startup. You can go through the training rather quickly, and you could be up and starting this business the same day. You could go through the training and start this business the same day. You don't need any license, you don't need any website, you don't need any of that stuff. So the startup is rather quick. Number 6 is it's duplicatable anywhere in the USA. It doesn't matter if you're in California, Florida, Texas, even if you're out in Alaska, Hawaii, Washington State, Michigan, even if we bring it to the East Coast, the Carolinas, Georgia, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, it doesn't matter. This business is duplicatable in all 50 states. Number 7, my favorite part is 95% of clients don't want the product. Why? Well, they just have a surplus that they don't need and won't use, and they're either going to throw them out or let them expire. That's where we come into place. So when they don't want it, we want it, we have a use for it. It's like a perfect puzzle piece that comes together. Number 8 is there's guaranteed resale prices. So we sell to big name wholesalers / pharmacies with dedicated price sheets. It doesn't matter if you have 1 box, 5 boxes, 10 boxes, it does not matter. There are dedicated resale sheets for these boxes with guaranteed prices. In fact, look at this invoice that I just sent out. I shipped out the product. This buyer will probably pay me either Zelle or wire transfer. It should get there on Monday because I did 3-day shipping. But as you can see, there's $8,500 with about $4,000 of this being profit. And as you can see, there's a unit price, there's a quantity, and I think for this particular total price right here, I had like 20 boxes, and the unit price was all the same. So it doesn't matter if you have 1 box, 10 boxes, 20 boxes, 50 boxes, 100 boxes, which can happen, the buyers will take them off your hands. Number 9, no physical location or warehouse needed. You could do this 100% out of your own house, apartment, wherever you live. I still don't have an office for this business. I run everything out of my home office and out of my house, and I do this business 100% from home. Now, there are people that have offices and warehouses, but those people are making, 6-7 figures per month. So you do not need an office. You can just run it out of your house if you have a home office or a part of your house that you can do this. These are very small products, so you don't need tons of space to store them. If you have a shelf, if you have a cupboard, or if you have a den in your house, that will totally do. In fact, most of the years I've been doing this business, I'll just get a big bucket or like a shoebox, and that will be very sufficient. So you don't need any physical location. Along with that, number 10 is there's really no inventory to keep. These boxes are very small. So once you're buying them, you can ship them out the same day, the next day. You don't have to hold on to this stuff, and it's not going to take up space where other things with other businesses might. For example, if you have sneakers, if you're doing the sneaker business, you have to have a lot of inventory on hand, and you need a place to keep it. I'm a big sneakerhead. I have 20, 30 pairs of sneakers, and I'm starting to run out of space because 10, 20 sneakers is going to take up a lot of space, where the same amount of space that 10, 20 sneakers would take up, you could have probably $100,000 worth of diabetic medical commodities. So as far as the inventory, you don't have to keep inventory because as soon as you get the product, you could sell it. Number 11 kind of ties back to number 2. You don't need any tech skills. The only thing that you need with this business is a phone. You need a smartphone. You need to be able to access the internet. Besides that, you do not need any tech skills, and you don't even really need anything else besides that. You don't need a car. You don't really need anything. Now, can it help? Yes. If you have a little bit more money than having the bare minimum, can that help? Absolutely. But you don't need any sort of tech skills. This is not an internet-based business. If you know your way around the internet, can that help? Yes, but you don't need to know how to code. You don't need a website. You don't need any of that. Repeat customer base. This is one of my favorite things about this business, and the reason why this is why this business is so lucrative is because these clients come back month after month after month. Now, if not all of them come back month after month after month, I have clients that sell to me every 3 months or every 6 months or every 2 weeks. But it's a repeat customer-based factor, which makes this business very lucrative. Number 13, easy to follow training course. The training course is laid out in a very simple format, which shows you everything A to Z as far as what you need to know, do, say, pay, and look for. At this current moment, the course is about 4 or so hours long. When it's necessary, I do add additional training videos, but the course is laid out in a very simple fashion where once you go through the course once, maybe twice, you're going to understand this business A to Z. If you do have any questions, we have a great support team and you can 100% reach out. Number 14, it's a simple concept. It's a buy and resell business. That's why, even there are other side hustles right here, even though I don't care for them, the greatest business, the business that I kind of grew up on and, found my entrepreneur path was, buying and reselling. So, it's one of the oldest formats of businesses backdated till, forever ago. So it's a simple concept. There's diabetics, they have extra supplies, they don't need, they don't use, they don't want. They resell them to us. They get these supplies month after month after month. They sell them to us over and over and over, and then we continuously do what we do. Number 15 is profit margins. Typically, you're going to double to triple your money. You're going to be buying boxes for between 10 and 30. You're going to be reselling for between 50 to 70 and higher. So you're not going to get rich off one box. This is a volume game. So you're not going to get rich off one box, but you can easily get, not easily, but with time and with, working this business, and especially once you build up that client list, that is where this business becomes easy. The hard part is actually building up the client list. And the hardest part about this business is like doing your first deal or two. Once you kind of put, the realness to this business and you're like, okay, this really works. I bought these supplies from this person. I was able to sell them. That's when the business kind of becomes easier. The hardest part for everybody is just doing your first deal. It's kind of like you're in a gym. You're going to the gym for 2-3 weeks and you're not seeing any improvements. Do you have the willpower to keep going? And then finally, you're able to maybe run that mile faster than you ever could. And then you just get addicted and you just keep going and going and going. It's the same thing with this. So look at this real quick testimony from Jordan. He actually posted this May 7th, 2024. He said, Felix Wisniewski, when I purchased your course with my stimulus check, so we purchased this a few years ago, I got from the government, my friends and family laughed at me because I was doing something out of the norm to them. Just wanted to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for everything you've taught me. Thanks to your guidance, my business is now thriving with 2 full-time staff members and it's fully automated. I'm even able to travel while I'm still making 6 figures. None of this would have been possible without your knowledge and support. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Keep doing you and helping others. Shout out to you, Jordan. He's crushing it. Love to see people win with this. Number 16, fast money. Once you actually, twofold. You can start this business, learn the information, and go out there and, start making money rather quickly. But also, once you build up that repeat client list, if you ever need money, if you need to pay a bill or whatever the situation could be, you could literally call up your client list and say, hey, do you have extra diabetic products for me this week, this month? And you can make money almost at the snap of a finger. Number 17, like I said in the beginning, this is something you can get started with 2 to 3 hours per month. Or number 1, you can get started with 2 to 3 hours per week or 10 to 15 hours per month, which will give you more free time. And especially once you build this business up and start seeing success with it, you're going to be able to have more freedom and more free time because this business is going to provide that to you. Along with that, more time with your family. This is what we all do this for. We all, build these businesses and create and strive for financial freedom so we can spend time with the people that we love the most. Number 19 is this is recession-proof. Back when COVID hit, this business didn't take a downturn. In fact, I think this business took an upturn. I found myself having more success and having more success than I ever had before around the time of COVID. Number 20 is it's evergreen. Like you've seen from Jordan, he said that he has 2 full-time employees. So with time, and when the time is right, you can easily automate this and put systems and people into place to make this evergreen because the people come back month after month after month to sell you the product. So this business can very well be evergreen where you can automate it and you can kind of just sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Number 21 is safety. So I've been talking, over the past few weeks to a bunch of people in the phone business or the electronic selling business where they said that, hey, I'm looking to transition out of the phone business for a safety factor. Because, when you think about the phone guy or you think about the local guy who buys phones. You think, well, he's got phones. Phones are profitable. Phones have a lot of value. That guy has a lot of money on him. And I've heard about things in the news where people are either losing their lives or getting injured or are getting put in dangerous situations over a transaction with a phone. But when you think about the diabetic test strip guy or girl, you don't think that this guy or this gal has a bunch of money. In fact, you probably confused as to what they even do with them. But when you put the persona that this guy is a phone reseller or a phone buyer, it can kind of put yourself in harm's way because you kind of get a label that you have a lot of money or you have a lot of cash on you. And then also people have emotional ties to these phones, where with diabetic testing supplies and diabetic medical commodities, they have no emotional attachment to them. So this business is 100% safer than anything I've ever done. I've never been in a sketchy situation or a situation where I felt at harm. Obviously, you got to be on your P's and Q's and always have your alert system, being alert, but, trust your gut, cross your T's, dot your I's. But I've never been in harm's way with this business, where I've heard that happening in both the phone business and in the sneaker business. And then also, with, houses or cars or things like this or domains, you could run into a safety issue as far as legality, where, with houses, you got to have a contract and you got to have the correct clauses in the contract. With this, you don't have to worry about any of that. Number 22, anyone can do this business. This business does not play favorites. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter what gender you are. This business plays no favorites. Obviously, you have to go out there, put the work in, stay consistent, and do what's required. But this business does not play favorites. I know people as young as 16 up to 65, 70 doing this business. I also know men, women. It does not matter. It does not play favorites. If you got the hustle in you, you can do this business. Number 23, minimal startup capital. I typically recommend that you start this business with somewhere between a couple hundred to a couple thousand. Now, as far as the training course, we have financing options available where you could break this down and pay for the training for as little as $60, $70 per month. So that's 100% affordable. As far as how much you need to start this business, I typically recommend somewhere between 500 and 1,000. Can you do it with less? Yes. I seen somebody, after they enrolled into the training course a few years back, they had $20. They flipped 20 to 60, 60 to 200, and they were off to the races. But typically, you want to start this business with somewhere between a couple $100 to over 1,000. 24, you can earn monthly checks, what you might earn in a month in a week. So it's not going to happen day one, but typically how much you can expect to earn in month one, you can expect to earn somewhere between 500 to 1,000 profit, and then it's gonna domino. So month 2 or by day 60, 1,000 to 2,000, and by month 3 or day 90, somewhere between 3,000 to 5,000. So it's gonna domino, and then as you grow, you're gonna keep building your list of repeat clients that are gonna sell to you over and over and over. And number 25 is we're helping others. These people, they don't need these supplies. They don't want these supplies. They're either going to throw them out or let them expire. We're offering to pay cash, put a few dollars in their pocket, and everybody wins at the end of the day. So those are 25 different things. Like I said, I just came up with those. I didn't prompt ChatGPT. I'm sure ChatGPT would definitely agree with me that this business is awesome and could have gave me 50, 100, 200 reasons. But 25 is good enough to give you an idea in case you were thinking about doing the phone business, which is okay, but it's not too much repeat factor, and there could be a lot of issues with safety. Houses is cool, and you can make some big profits, but the thing about the wholesaling houses or flipping houses is how many people are selling their house 40, 50, 60 cents on the dollar, which is what is required to look for. There's a lot of people with houses, but a lot of people want full price. So the competition factor is a lot because there's not that many clients or deals to go around. Cars is cool, but if you're buying cars from an auction, sometimes you don't know what's wrong with the car until you actually buy it. Pallets is a good business. I've dibbled and dabbled with the pallet business as well, but you need a truck, you need a place to store these pallets. A lot of the pallets can be broken and have issues with them, so that can be a problem. Sneakers can kind of be like the phone business in a way. Domains is cool, but that requires tech skills. Appliances is cool, but you're gonna have to be lugging those appliances around and, really be out there in the field lugging these big machines around. And then clothes is cool, but another thing, it's not like the medical commodities business. I think the medical commodities business is better than all of these in its own aspect. So like I said, just another quick shout out to Tim. Tim said this was March 10th. This was 11 days ago. He said, "Man, I love this business. Last week was my biggest yet of pickups, sending out the shipments today. 4714 in invoices, about 2,800 net before any deductions. Second month in the business and hitting the ground running. Let's go." So shout out to Tim, shout out to Jordan. I have dozens and dozens of testimonies. Make sure you watch the free training. If you haven't yet registered for the free training, be sure to register for the free training upcoming this week. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.